What's up, everyone? Welcome to an extremely special episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Truth. It is the DMX dedication episode, and we are all super, super excited. It's your girl, Naya Angel, with my homies for life, Mr. PAT and E-Man.
What's going on?
What's up? What's up?
So, everyone, as you all know, we have lost a amazing person and a hip hop icon in DMX. I'm going to give you all just a little bit of information for those who don't know much about him, because he was such just an amazing person. And DMX was born Earl Simmons on December 18th, 1970, in New York City, hailing from Yonkers. He was the first hip hop artist to drop two platinum albums in the same year. And although he had a tough childhood, he overcame many otherwise devastating obstacles to be one of the most prolific and dominant artists in hip hop history. I mean, he sold over 74 million records worldwide throughout his career and is the first artist to have his first five albums go number one overall on the Billboard 200. To say that he will leave a legacy of authenticity and realness that is unmatched is an understatement. He was unapologetically raw because that's how he truly lived his life, on his terms, good, bad, or otherwise, and he will be sorely missed as not only a hip hop icon, but a vessel of hope. So, this is our dedication to the man that is DMX.
Where my dogs at?
So, to start us off, I'm going to go ahead and throw this to you, Mr. PAT. What are your thoughts about our guy, DMX?
All right. So just bear with me, everybody. There isn't one singular word that could really encapsulate how I feel about X's passing. I have so many different feelings, so many different emotions that are going on, so many different thoughts. Of course, this hit me very hard, just like it hit all of his fans very hard. Basically, it was like a ton of bricks just fell on us. First, I want to say rest in power. Rest in power to the dog. Rest in power to DMX.
Yes,
Rest in
yes.
power to Dark Man X. Let me just say that. As we all know, he was a legend. He was an icon, and he will always be remembered forever. He has touched myself and you guys and everybody else, the fans. He has touched our souls in ways that are just undescribable. So I'll just say that I've been a fan of DMX since day one. I'm talking since he became commercially known to us in 1998. And I say commercially known to us, the people, because I know X was on the rap scene since the early 90s or maybe late 80s, early 90s, but I know he's been on the scene since around that time. I've read his autobiography, Earl, so I know what his struggle was before he got on. I've read about the adversities and the struggles he went through in life, just in his regular everyday life, and also trying to get into the music industry. I've read about the performances, the countless rap battles, the closed doors, and everything else in between. The reason that PAT is a thing is because of DMX.
What?
Yeah, yeah, real talk. I like that. But no, real talk. The reason that PAT, the artist, the rap artist, the hip hop artist, the MC is even a thing is because of DMX. I put pen to pad and picked up a mic because of DMX. Now, I remember being in my parents' car and Slippin' came on. Once that came on, a certain rhyme came into my head as I was listening to the song, and it sparked me. It sparked me, and I told myself that as soon as I get home, I gotta write this down. I just gotta write. I just gotta write it down. The rhyme was whack.
What you mean?
The rhyme was whack. I'll admit it, because I was like 13, 14 at the time when it came to me, but I just had to write it down because I felt like I could capitalize on it somehow. So I got home and wrote it down. And what probably started off as maybe 4 or 5 bars turned into, I want to say 10 bars, maybe more. The numbers could be a little off because at that time I didn't really know how to count bars or anything like that. But I really started writing like raps, writing poetry at 12 years old. But DMX, when he came on the scene, he is the one who made me want to be a rapper. Listening to DMX made me take rap more seriously. And it made me want to improve myself. Like I wasn't rapping just to rap. Like I really wanted to like really be an MC. Like it wasn't
respect to my dog. That's respect to my dog.
Like I really wanted to be taken seriously because I like the people I grew up with, like we all wrote and we would all rap or whatever, just kind of playing around, goofing off or whatever. But like I know I wanted to like take it serious. Mm-hmm. So DMX was that guy. He was that dude that I listened to and I was like, you know what? This is what the fuck I need to be doing. This is what the fuck I want to do. Like I want to rap, Of course, I was influenced by other rappers, and I've always been a fan of hip hop, no doubt about that. But without a doubt, he was that one guy that I listened to, and I was like, I got to do this. This is what I want to do. The 2 #1 albums he had in 1998, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, are hip hop classics.
I don't
absolutely agree.
I don't think anybody's going to really argue with me on that.
Absolutely agree.
Period. They are hip hop classics. 2 classics that have also had a serious influence on me as an MC. So I would say fast forward up until about now, over 100 songs, over 100 videos, notebooks of raps, basically a whole ton of freestyle sessions with friends and just random people I met on like street corners, and whether it be at my job in the break room, I mean, like even live performances. I could keep going, but I owe all of that to DMX. Straight up. Like he's the one that put me on that trajectory. I'm gonna just say that one of my favorite verses from him, and I have a lot of favorite verses from him, but one of them, and bear with me, I'm gonna read it. I don't have the best DMX impression, so I'm gonna just
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got you. I got you, my dog.
I could do the little girl bark if you
maybe one of y'all could do a better impression of me, but I'm gonna just read it in my regular voice. But I just want people to know how much I really fuck with this particular one, because like I said, there was like other verses, many other verses that I really fuck with, but this one off of Ja Rule's song It's Murder, And that featured him and Jay-Z. And
that was a damn good song. I
yeah,
ain't gonna lie. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to cut you off, PAT, but when I heard that song, I had to. That's when I actually started my whole DMX impression.
Oh yeah.
And then like I tried to work on my whole Ja Rule thing. So like, yeah, that's the song right there.
All right, facts.
All right, so I'm gonna just go through this verse real quick, and then I'll explain what I liked about it briefly. So, it's Murder comes on, and DMX, his verse is the first one, and it goes like this: They got my back against the building. I'm the villain that's creeping around corners. Like, shorty, you see them niggas creeping around, warn us. We might be coming through, gunning through, running through. So be careful what you do, or the slugs might come to you. As long as I can remember, the streets have kept me safe. And ever since that time in December, the heat's been at my waist. I need an extra set of eyes, so I keep my dogs with me. Doctor says let them die, so this fucking dog bit me. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it seems like since you heard of us, y'all niggas turning to murderers. But you couldn't fuck with a third of us, still against me, and want to see me in the box. Grilling me all crazy when you see me in the locks. Leave you red like Fox. Ain't nothing funny about that. I see you in a coma. Ain't coming about that. You hold on for too long and they ain't pulling the plug on you. I'll run up in this joint myself and bust another slug on you. And then he's like, it's murder.
Yes, yes.
It's murder. Yes. And then it goes into Jay-Z's verse.
Yes. But gotta give him the snaps up like they do at the what's that called?
Like poetry jams.
Yes, the poetry.
Open mic poetry.
Yes. Jeez, man. That man was something special.
But yeah, I just wanted to I guess spit that. Of course, I didn't do it much justice. X, of course, that's his, and he, it's not the same.
Word.
But I love that verse, and I love, of course, his other verses because he had like such a passion and such a energy to it, just like his cadence and his rhythm and how he said things and emphasis, like just just everything about that, like just the way he said it, like it gave me chills. Like honestly, every DMX verse gives me chills, and when I say I get chills, like hip hop does that to me. Hip hop that I really love, hip hop that like certain artists that I listen to, when they're so dope, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be like a really dope, punchline and metaphor. They don't have to be like super lyrical or nothing like that. Even though that's what I fuck with. It could just be how they sound, like just that raw energy that they're coming with. That just gives me a chill. Like it just, because I'm feeling it. Like I'm really feeling it, and I'm just like, damn, this is giving me a certain vibe. And it's hard. It's really hard to explain. Like right. I'm not even a church goer, but it's like a Holy Ghost in a way.
Absolutely,
it's just one of those things.
Absolutely,
so DMX, like his verses did that for me, and that is what made him one of a kind as an MC and as a person too. I mean, you could see how authentic he was in his music and outside of his music. I mean, his music was just so full of passion and energy that it was damn near unmatched.
Absolutely.
It was just it was him. Like it was unique to him. Like anytime you turn on the radio or you put on his album or whatever, and you heard X, you knew it was X. Like there was no mistake about that. Like I said, his cadence and rhythm with the way he was rapping, and you add that to the aggressive energy that he always brought to a song.
Even that tone, tone is unique to DMX.
Right, his tone was unique.
No one can be like
all of DMX. It. Like it really just took the song, any song that he was on, whether it be his own song or songs that he was featured on, it just took it to another level. And what I loved about that is you can tell that he always put 110% into his music. Not 100%, 110%.
Right.
And his energy was just always at a 10. Like anytime I listened to him, there was no time where I was just like, damn, I I don't feel like he really came too hard on this song. Like I never felt that way. Like anytime I heard him, he always was at a 10, straight up, just at a 10, probably even 11. That's how big his energy was.
We can place it at a 12 too. We can
Right, we
place
could
it
even
at
put it at
12
a
too.
12. We could even do that. That's just what the type of energy he always came with.
Absolutely.
Speaking of his music, what I've always loved about X also is that he actually did not cross over. He never crossed over.
Right.
That is actually
he
true.
stayed raw.
Right. He stayed true to himself. Like he was always true to who he was. And he just so happened to make songs that did cross over. So, there's a difference because of course there are artists who will like go out their way to make a crossover hit or whatever. He never did that. He just made his music and it just happened to cross over.
I'll put it like this, and not to cut you off, P, I'm gonna let you continue, but I couldn't imagine DMX doing a song with Taylor Swift. Like it wouldn't even make sense.
No,
if I would have heard something like that, I'd be like, man, what in the hell are you doing?
But you know what though? If he did, like, it's one of those things where his presence could have even gave her a little bit of street cred. Like it would have made like HUD niggas just be like, oh shit, Taylor Swift was like,
right.
Taylor Swift don't need no street cred.
Similarly to what we were talking about earlier with Cisco, right? Because it was like once Cisco got on that hook, it was like, oh, wait a minute, that's how I do Cisco.
Right. Yeah. It made you like say, I can fuck with Cisco, like
right.
And no disrespect to Cisco, because I fucked with his music as a solo artist, and of course Drew Hill.
Drew Hill is dope.
Dope group.
So. Just letting everybody know, I listen to a lot of Drew Hill, so don't come out here, Cisco. We love you, man.
Right, Cisco, it's all love. Let me clarify that.
You just gotta clarify it.
It's all love. It's all love. We definitely fuck with Drew Hill and Cisco, and we love the music that they came with. So no doubt about that. But back to X. So he made people cross over to him, not the other way around.
I agree.
And personally, I respect when an artist stays true to who they are. And without a doubt, DMX was one of those artists. He didn't compromise on his music just to appeal to the masses. And I think oftentimes we've had too many artists who do just that. They compromise their music. Really, they compromise themselves just to appeal to the masses. And
I agree.
Without a doubt, DMX did not do that. Outside of his music, you can see from all of his interviews how real he was.
Absolutely.
That's another thing I loved about DMX. I loved watching and listening to his interviews. They were always just entertaining, and I was on the edge of my seat all the time. Like every time he was interviewed, I was just always on the edge of my seat. Not just for the fact that I knew it would be entertaining, but just because I wanted to hear what he would actually say. Because I'll be honest, there are many celebrities that I don't like. When I hear about an interview that they're having, I don't even really want to, even watch it or listen, because I'm just like,
I agree.
They're just going to say something politically correct.
I agree.
And it's just going to be boring. DMX was not that artist
at all.
He was the one artist. Every time he had an interview, I was like, you know what? Let me put down whatever I'm doing. I got to hear this. I want to hear what he has to say. I could always count on X to tell it like it is and not give politically correct answers. He always spoke straight from the heart. He didn't filter himself at all. He didn't filter himself like so many other artists do.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
Like I said, listening to any other celebrity speak their mind, I mean, it's pretty much they had a filter. So any celebrity who did not have a filter and really spoke their mind was and is always refreshing. You could tell that a lot of these celebrities, a lot of artists, musicians, or whoever, you could tell that they were coached by their publicist or their manager or whoever else preps them for an interview. With DMX, this was not the case. And the thing is, DMX was one of those dudes, I could just see him talking to, you know, whoever was in his corner, and that person trying to get him to like kind of tone it down, and you know, DMX be like, man, fuck that, you know, like,
right?
He would basically say, "What the fuck you mean, son? What the fuck you mean, son?
Like, yeah,
what the fuck you mean?
Right.
Tell me what to do.
I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say, you know what I mean? Like, so
you had it that time, Pat.
I tried, you know. But yeah, that, you know, that's what I loved about him. That's what I loved about DMX. He was not Hollywood. He wasn't. And that is what was so dope about him. He was a real person that real people could relate to. He wasn't on no Hollywood bullshit. You know, he was strong enough to where he didn't allow himself to get caught up in the industry. He didn't get caught up with the industry bullshit. I mean, he even said it himself in one of his old interviews. He said he's not an industry artist. He's an artist in the industry. So I was like, yeah, facts. Like when he said that, I was like, that's it right there. You know, because, you know, you compare any other artists to him, they're industry artists. They're made for the industry. They're you know, well packaged, and they're a product. They're not real. They're artificial, basically. DMX, nah, he wasn't artificial. He wasn't packaged. He wasn't on the conveyor belt. Everything he did, everything he said, it was just real. And you knew it. You could feel it. Every time I saw him and I heard him, I could feel it. Like, you just know. You don't even have to be next to him. You don't even have to be with him in person. You just know. You just know when somebody's being real. I mean, I'm sure y'all can agree with me. You just have that feeling. Like, it's like a gut feeling. It's an intuition. You just know. And I always knew that. I always knew that with DMX. Yeah. You know, I was like, we're going to get authenticity straight up. So, you know, I could keep going on and on, but I know everybody else wants to speak. But, you know, this is a big loss. I'm going to just say that. It's a big loss. And for me personally, just as an artist and as a rapper myself, I feel it in like a really, I don't want to say unique, but just in a certain ways. Like, it hurts me. It bothers me. It's just hard to articulate. It's just really hard. Like, and just, you know, it's just hard because this was the guy that like made me like want to rap. Like, the thing is, I said this in the beginning, like I was writing, like I would write rhymes or whatever, but like listening to him, something about like his voice and just the way he rapped, like just how poetic he was, just his whole approach. I'm gonna just say the S word, but like his swagger, just, you know, all of that made me like want to rap and just be a better rapper and to actually be an MC. So this just hits me a certain way, you know. And like I said, I've been a fan since day one. You know, I'm not one of those folks who kind of just, you know, caught the late train. Like, I just heard maybe his like fourth or fifth album and, you know, became a fan, or like just heard his song in the club or whatever, and just was like, oh, you know, well, like DMX, like, who's that? Like it was never that at all. Like as soon as he dropped, it was just I really fuck with this cat right here. Like I just really, really fuck with this dude right here. And like I've always been a hip hop fan for as long as I can remember. Growing up in New York, being around, of course, East Coast rap, West Coast rap, heard some Dirty South. But I grew up at a time when New York hip hop was big. And you know, of course, I fuck with Biggie and Nas and Jay-Z.
I don't fuck with Biggie.
Yeah,
definitely, but I do fuck with Nas though.
Right, Wu-Tang, I fuck with them dudes heavy. You know, of course,
Wu-Tang is my shit.
You know, Naughty by Nature. Like there was so many of them back then that I really fucked with. But
let's not forget about Redman, because that's my man right there.
Yeah. I mentioned Redman. Yeah, definitely Redman. I really fuck with all of them. But I remember not necessarily having a favorite rapper. I just remember fucking with the music. I just really loved it. Of course, I'm big on A Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes. You know, you name it, I was fucking with it. Yeah, but DMX, I could say without a shadow of a doubt, he was like my first favorite rapper. Like people could ask me, who's your favorite rapper? And I'd be like, DMX. Like it was just that simple. I mean, before then, I would kind of just throw out a name or whatever. And maybe because I was too young, but once X came out, and like people just ask me randomly, like, yeah, you know, or you know, who's your favorite rapper? Oh, DMX. Like that's it. DMX is my favorite. So yeah, he was that dude. And yeah, big loss.
If you got more to say,
it's a big loss.
Continue.
I'll let y'all go, but yeah,
no, man, keep continuing.
No, I understand completely, Pat. I mean, like, I don't think people, you know, I've seen on social media, you know, people say, what's so great about DMX? And, you know, the Black community is glorifying a drug addict and etc. And let me say this, I have not been able to keep my cool on not one single one of those posts, because what made XX was the transparency in his music.
Absolutely.
Every struggle that he had in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what artistry is. Exactly. Artistry is sharing with your fans, with your constituents, what you've experienced and how you've grown from it. And I can't think of another rapper. No, fuck that. I can't think of another artist who was just as blatantly transparent about everything they have struggled with, everything they have overcome, everything that they wanted for themselves, for their children, and etc. more than DMX. Mm-hmm. And every time I see one of those posts, it pissed me off, because that man was real and he didn't have to be. He didn't have to share with us his truth. He didn't have to tell us about, you know, sleeping out on the streets and overcoming beatings and etc. from family members, you know, not feeling a certain amount of love and being forced as a young Black man without many resources to him to do what he needed to do to survive. He never did that shit. So for people who was expecting this fucking character of a rapper, you know, people with these just
Rick Ross falls in that category.
Dudes out here now are showing that's not who X was. Mm-hmm. That's not the reason that we love him. It's not because we're glorifying addiction. It's because we're glorifying someone who resonated with us because he was real, because he recognized that he was a human who was flawed and who had these imperfections, but he was going to do his best every time. He was going to wake up every day and strive to be better. And even though sometimes his demons overcame him, he still made it out of situations that most people don't. Right. So fuck everybody who got a problem with us showing love to DMX. That's really where I'm at, because that man changed so much for so many of us.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody
Fact.
who's sitting here, like, and I agree, but anybody who's sitting here to think that people are glorifying addiction must be out of their damn minds. Like literally, like there's so many addictions every day. You know, the only one they emphasize so much is drug addiction. There's so many addictions out there.
Yeah, there's many
Right?
addictions.
There's so many out there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
you know, and there's a lot of people out there that have a huge issue, you know, stating because someone had a drug addiction, oh, it makes them a bad person. I'm like, a lot of people don't even check their own addiction, but want to talk about other people's addiction.
Yeah, that's what's annoying, about this whole thing. What Nye said as far as people talking about him being an addict and so-called glorifying addiction. Like that, man, it's like fuck whoever's saying that shit. Like real talk, fuck you if you're really talking like that. If you're talking that
I
shit, fuck
agree.
you. Like,
I
because
agree.
it's not even about glorifying drugs or glorifying addiction or anything like that. Like the man spoke his truth. That was his reality.
Right. And how
That
many fucking artists fall to, drugs and addictions and etc. And we don't hear these same groups of people, and y'all know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. You don't hear them screaming to the high heavens, don't glorify Amy Winehouse or don't glorify. I mean, I'm not speaking negatively on her. I'm just saying.
or like a Kurt Cobain or somebody like that.
You don't hear them screaming off the rooftops, why are you glorifying this person when he was an addict and etc. Do you know how many artists have died of overdose? Yep. And we take the time to appreciate the artistry, but because this is DMX, we hearing certain voices about how he wasn't a good influence. If I was a dude, y'all know what my next sentence would be, right? Y'all know where I would be taking it,
I already know.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and with these people, it's just like, look, man, like, get your own fucking life together. Like, stop trying to shit on certain artists, and like your life is perfect.
Where the perfect human being at? Introduce me.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like get your own fucking life together. Like your life's not perfect. Like, who are you to judge? Certain people's lives and talking about their imperfections. Is like, are you perfect? Most likely not. So, shut the fuck up and get your own life together. That's what I would tell those people. Get your own fucking life together.
You know what's so crazy about everything? Do you know there's only one genre that promotes drugs, sex, addiction, abuse? Is actually country music. If you listen to a lot of country music, and y'all be shocked, I've listened to a lot of country music. My father was really big on Kenny G, so he still has his. We still got his CD, and we still got the vinyl also too.
Is Kenny G country? I thought he was jazz. Maybe
I'm a little bit.
Because I don't fuck with country, so I don't know.
Yeah, he like a little. Some of them like crossover and whatnot, but that's one genre that has gotten no drawback from anything Dolly Parton is one of the best country singers of all time, mixed with I think what's her name, like Reba McEntire and whatnot, but they have I think 12 almost 13 14 albums that are country, and they're women, they're white women, white European women, and they talk about their same struggles and all the abuse that they gone through, and and I don't know if any of them had addictions and whatnot, but y'all don't say nothing about them. But when it comes to black brothers like DMX and everyone else like that, y'all always got a mouthful to say something.
Yeah, you know who else they did that to? Also, they did that to Whitney Houston. Also, rest in peace. Of course, she's a legend as well. But I remember when she passed. I remember seeing and hearing people talk shit and talking about, oh, why are people celebrating a crack addict? She was a crackhead and blah blah blah. And it's like, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the entire fuck up.
That don't hurt me the most. And I know this one's on DMX, but I don't want to sidetrack and whatnot. But Whitney Houston was the first actual, female artist that I listened to and whatnot. And it's so crazy that's how actually me and my father actually bonded on music, actually, because he loved Whitney Houston, and that's how I got so infatuated listening to Whitney Houston like music and whatnot, and that's what made me brought me closer to her because I enjoy like all her songs, and it's crazy, to see, a guy like me listen to Whitney Houston, but yes, I do listen to her, just like like DMX, was like it's speechless. Like for me, I got like one of the coolest DMX stories ever. So my cousin loved DMX. All right, she actually bought the album. It's the '98 album. It's dark and let me make sure I'm saying it. It's dark and it's hell. I always mess up on that one. It's dark
and hell is hot.
And whatnot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So she had that joint on tape and whatnot. This is before they even started putting out CDs, because CDs didn't hit until like early 2000, 2001. So they still had everything on tape and whatnot. And for those who don't know what a tape is, you can Google it and whatnot. And the correct term is called cassette.
Oh man,
tape.
That would be Generation Z. That's like, what? A tape?
Yeah, like what's a
and to kick it off again, go Google cassette player and everything, so you can know how to put the cassette in.
Oh, so, Walkmans.
Or Walkman is what we called it back in the day.
We had the Walkmans. I remember that. Oh man, we're aging ourselves right now.
So she already had it on tape.
21.
Yeah. so she had it on tape. All right. And then I'm literally like, I'm in middle school. I would say about 6th, 7th grade. I'm just hearing this guy just yelling, screaming, and just talking so verbal. And once I heard DMX say motherfucker, I kept saying motherfucker so much that I lost my mind. And I started feeling like DMX for a little bit and whatnot. Then we went to FYE that was in down in the mall. And then I'm sitting over here trying to find this tape. And then this is where you can actually put the cassette and you can actually put the headphones on and let you listen to the previews. So I started, and I wasn't even a big music head at the time. Like I wasn't even really big in the rap, because for me, I really loved R&B. So that was my thing. But DMX was the first rapper that actually get me to love rap, next to Tupac and whatnot. He actually got me to enjoy good music. Then we went to FYE, and then she left. She bought Fresh in My Fresh, Blood in My Blood. I kid you not, when my cousin went to sleep, I literally stole her cassette player and just put it in the boombox. And for those who don't know what a boombox is, it's this big, rectangle thing.
If you see you do the right thing, it's what Radio Raheem got killed over.
Yeah.
Having the boombox.
Yeah. They came in all different sizes, but we had like an old joint and whatnot. So I used to just get the tape. I put the joint in there, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't play it up too loud. I played it up a little bit to make sure. And then when I was done with the joint, I always put it back so she didn't know I was listening to it. But that man changed me so much to love rap. Like I lost it every time when the DMX song came on. I started I always wanted to do his amazing bark, be like, grrr, you know what I'm saying? It just made me feel like I just felt like DMX and whatnot. It's just one guy that got me to love something so much, and he made people enjoy what he did, And I can tell everyone like this. I've listened to a lot of rap artists, and there's only a few artists that touch me, only a few. Why? Maybe because I'm picky, Maybe because the simple fact is you got to have content. Maybe because the simple fact is they didn't have that same raw like DMX and whatnot,
Yep.
And that's not going, I'll tell you about this, right? When I heard the Ruff Ryders anthem, right? I kid nobody not. I wanted to get me a motorcycle, a pit bull, ride that joint and be like, I want to be part of the Ruff Ryders gang. That's how bad DMX just made me feel like I wanted to be part of him. Nobody can tell me, and no one can't find me an artist out there that made you want to make you feel like him and make you be part of something that was great.
Not to cut you off real quick, but just since you brought up Rough Riders, that was another thing. When Rough Riders came out, and of course DMX, we saw him as like the leader of Rough Riders. But just like you mentioned with the video and the motorcycles and everything, like I wanted to be a part of Rough Riders. Like I was like, man, if I ever get signed, if I ever get discovered rapping, like I want to be down with Rough Riders. It was either them or Rockefeller, or it was like back then you just wanted to be on one of those labels. It was either Rough Riders, Rockefeller, Bad Boy. I mean, it was one of those, like, but definitely Rough Riders. I was like, yo, I want to be down with them. Like, I want to be down with Rough Riders. And I'm sure a lot of other people felt that way too.
No, facts, because me and my siblings used to talk about which member of Rough Riders we would be, right? And like, I was always like, I would be Eve.
So, Eve was dope.
He was so dope.
You know what I mean? So I feel you.
So, man, but like I said, every time I think of DMX, this all keeps coming out of my head. Where my dogs at? That's all. Once I heard that, I was like, where my man X at? Where he at? Where he at? And ain't nothing gonna change. I like I tell everybody, until someone can find me an artist that can take female names and make them rhyme, and make them rhyme, And I'm gonna show you how cool about what I found. So I was on Facebook, right? And people had, doing, when DMX and everything was going on, I came across somebody's page, and then they had something special on there. They said 8 things DMX taught us. Number 1, you're whack. Number 2, you twisted. Number 3, which is my favorite, your girl's a hoe. Because he made sure he let everybody know your girl's a hoe. Number 4.
Don't forget they were broke.
And they were broke. Not like I said, everybody, the 4th one, you're broke. He just let you know your girl was broke, but then she's a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Number 5, he said the kid ain't yours. Because why? Because we're going back to number 3. Your girl's a hoe. Then number 4, that's your broke.
Right.
Number 6, everyone knows. Of course, everyone knows. He let everybody know. Everybody know. Mm-hmm. Hey. Number 7, he said your old man says you stupid. Why? Because he let everybody know that you were whacked. Going back to number 1. And last but not least, number 8, you'll be like, so I love my baby, motherfucker. I will never let her go. Why? Because it goes back to number 3, that your girl's a hoe. But like, nobody's gonna be like DMX. His rawness, like PAT said, there's nothing out there. My man barked as loud as he could on every album. He said motherfucker so much it made you feel that you guys was what? That your girl's a hoe and you're broke. He also made sure, what these bitches want from us. He made sure. Because why? Because that was DMX. Nothing's not going to change anything what this man did. So, like I said, if you guys have a problem with addiction, look at your own addiction first before you say anything about a man that was willing to put out albums, to talk about his own struggles, sharing it with a lot of people, and turn it into something essence. Because I'll tell everybody like this, no artist, and all these damn celebrities out here, nobody but DMX. That one hurt the most. Not because, and I tell people, it's not because, I don't I don't have love for other people. It's because it was the X-Men, the man who changed a whole lot and made sure that whatever he did, he always let everybody know where my dog's at. He always know He always let everybody know how the Rough Riders got down. You know, you know. He always about the hood because he always said where the hood's at.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
in my in my in my favorite, one of my favorite early 2000 songs from the acclaimed album, The Great Depression, you know, he let everybody know who we be. Mm-hmm. Because I can tell everybody this, I will play that song on repetition. Like I will, like if I have that song right next to me, I will play it and repeat at least 15 times before I go, because that song right there woke me up, made me feel and get and truly, like truly show how these motherfuckers get down. And X-Man, I gotta thank you for that, because you changed a lot of people minds on this thing called rapping. You know, like I don't even think, I'm not too sure if he done many samples in his song. I know there's a few samples in some of his songs, but I don't think he was like a heavily sample like most rappers out there. But nothing is gonna take what this man like has done. Like I've heard people talk about their DMX stories. It's crazy, you know. It's crazy, you know. But there's no one going to be like you, X-Man, and I'm just very privileged. I'll say privileged that I had a chance to grow up, listen to a man like you, and give two shits of a fuck how it came out. And for that, man, I applaud your greatness, right? So rest in power, big dog, you know. And for the last time, I'm gonna have to go out with the big girl. Where my dog's at?
That's what's up, sir. That's what's up. So I appreciate that, fellas. I think you guys did a great job of highlighting, what he meant to us. I'm going to take a little bit of a deep approach here, because DMX affected me in so many different ways that I struggled. I struggled putting all those different ways together. I sat there for a while and I said, how can I be elegant? And how can I be, you know, uh, um, classy enough to describe, just all the different ways that he impacted me? And then I said to myself, but it's not about being classy and elegant. It's about being raw and real, because that's who DMX was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to spend this time doing. A little earlier, I got a little passionate when it came to, the talking about how people are making claims that, the Black community is glorifying addiction and etc. by honoring him. But it's because if you didn't authentically experience DMX as a part of your childhood, as we had the opportunity to do, you can't truly understand what we are feeling, because this man was more than just your average rapper.
Yep.
The things that he overcame in his life, so many of his followers and fans can relate to, whether it's, sleeping on the floor, or just looking at hard times and saying, damn, man, I don't know when shit gonna change, but I'm gonna keep pushing, which is the whole premise of the song Slipping, which is by far my favorite DMX song. And it is actually one of my favorite rap songs ever.
I'm slipping.
And
I'm falling. I can't get up.
get up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man. And it's just what he put into his music was the energy that he had towards life, which is,
Yes.
I'm going to face some struggles. I'm going to face some obstacles, but I'm going to beat every fucking one of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that is true heart. You know, people talk about heart, people rap about heart all fucking day and don't have an idea of what it means. DMX is a guide if you don't know what it means to have true fucking heart. To depend on those, to need to depend on those closest to you, but can't. To realize at a young age that you got to take care of yourself and you got to make it because you are meant for more than the shitty experience you're living through. That's who fucking DMX was. You can highlight all the other negative shit you want. You can't take his accomplishments away from him. Nope. You can't take what he meant to this community away from him.
Nope.
You can't take all the pain and the struggle and the fortitude to overcome it away from him. We're never going to be able to speak words to the hope and the drive that he gave others by starting his songs off with prayers, by being, and I'm not even a particularly religious person, but it wasn't about the prayer itself. It was about the message that with hope and faith, whether you believe in yourself or you believe in a higher power, you can accomplish anything. That's what DMX represented. DMX represented the will in all of us to overcome our obstacles in life. That man had so many before him. He had a hand that was difficult for adults to hand him as a fucking child. So when we're talking about DMX, we're talking about the purest definition of strength, of willpower. And that's what people don't get. People are like, oh, you didn't really know him personally. He's just another celebrity. No, fuck that. He's not just another celebrity. Really that's not. What you will never understand because you didn't live his life. You didn't walk in his shoes. You can't understand. You can't fully understand, understand, outerstand, whatever fucking stand all these woke people want to use. You can't comprehend exactly what he went through because you did not live his life. So you can't talk about how we can or cannot glorify his accomplishments. Because let me tell you what I'm going to do, what I have been doing since Friday when he ascended on to his greatest level. Okay, because I know that he is still with us, appreciating this love and thankful for the love that we are showing him.
Yep.
Is I have been listening to DMX nonstop, praising him, his accomplishments nonstop, and I will not stop. This is where I want to be. I want to remember.
Because if I keep, I'm so sorry to cut you off now, Angel. But
no, you're fine.
Man, yeah, because if I start listening to DMX, I'm gonna start thinking I am DMX. I ain't gonna lie.
That's how he made you feel.
That's how it makes you feel. I'm sorry. Absolutely. I'm being honest. Like when I started listening to Flesh in My Flesh, Blood in My Blood, I'm sitting over here like my mind was losing. And mind you, I was a kid. I'm listening to this thing. I'm like, yo, and I started, like I told, when you hear that Rough Riders anthem, that shit made me feel like I was on top of the edge. And I told everybody, like, man, and when you in middle school and you like early in high school and you know you can't fight, but you know you gotta act like DMX just walking in the room just to scare people, you know?
Like X.
You gotta act like X, because ain't nobody wrong than him. That's how you know nobody ain't gonna play you around, you know?
See, that's the power of music, you know, and the power of his music, because I mean, his music was powerful, and I mean, you know, when I said like his music gave me chills, or it still gives me chills, like it's chills to the point where like it just puts energy, like it just injects energy into me, like, you know, because I'm a laid back dude, but like, you know, certain music, especially his, gets me amped. Like, believe it or not, like I get amped with certain artists, and he was definitely one of those. Like, I could listen to his music when I'm working out, You know, if I'm gonna get into a fight with somebody, like I'm gonna listen to him.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. Like I said, when it's time for me to go out there, go to war, and I gotta go put up a fight, believe me, I'm running DMX straight, 15 minutes strong, because then I'm get my head right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to war. Because that's how DMX went. So that's what I tell everybody. So when, for all those out there, like I say, you guys don't know who he is, and and I'm gonna let Night Angel like finish, but when you guys sit here and talk about, we don't know, or you know what I'm saying, because we never met them and everything, I'm gonna give y'all a good, like, memory lane about, about in the early 90s, right? See, there wasn't no iPhones out there, Information for us wasn't as fast that we're getting it now, The internet was out there, but it wasn't even the thing where it is as it is right now, So for those who wanted actually albums, vinyls, and tapes, you had to go to the spots that were selling it. And yes, you had to pay for it, There wasn't no iTunes in the 90s, wasn't no YouTube yet, So we got information going so fast to the point y'all don't even care. See, when you lived like how most of us live, where we had to basically sit down on TV to watch something, to actually get something, especially music at that time, like it was hard because the resources we had, like in the night, it wasn't as big and whatnot, Now we talking about we in 2021 where we can pop open our laptops, go on YouTube, go find a DMX song. We can go find this, we can go find that, See, we did it because we knew that the resources out there, it wasn't much. Like, if you guys knew how hard it was to record a rap song back, like in the early 90s, you guys would show much more respect towards what most of these guys had to do, the time, the essence of what they had to put together and whatnot, Just imagine you got to put out an album and then you got to put it out on a tape. See, y'all don't know nothing about the tape and whatnot until you make a mixtape off the tape, See, everybody got something to say about everybody, but I ain't gonna let nobody dog my man DMX. That's one thing we're not doing and whatnot. Y'all want to talk about everybody else, talk about everybody else, but y'all ain't gonna disrespect DMX. My man done a whole lot. He's gone through a whole lot, just like many people out here goes through a whole lot. So we're gonna have to respect DMX and whatnot. Sorry, not Angel. I just had to say that, but yeah, you can continue your thoughts. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, sir. This session is about showing our love, passion, and appreciation for Darkman X. And I appreciate that we're able to do that because this man was so much to us. And this is raw what we're doing, right? We're having a discussion, we're remembering him, we're appreciating him. And my points were going to be exactly that his life wasn't perfect because no one's ever will be perfect. As long as we're human beings, none of us are going to live an absolutely perfect life. X decided to be real with us about those imperfections and about his struggles. And because of that, we all connected with him on a level that not very many other artists can claim. And for that reason alone, I am so thankful to have had the opportunity to grow up with such a huge part of my childhood being excited about his next album. And I mean, I literally had every single DMX album released, every single one. Okay, and my very yes, my very first time listening to a CD was Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful to be a part of that. Right. I'm so grateful because like I honestly got flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood first. And then that made me go and look for it's dark and hell is hot.
Same here.
And,
yep. Same with me.
Yeah. So
Mine's with the opposite way around. I'm to my
yeah.
cousin on the first tape and whatnot, which she bought the second one, which I had to sneak around to listen to and whatnot. But that's just me.
Right, right. But so, I'm just gonna just wrap it up with saying, this man, just everything, his energy, his, the exciting tone of his persona, right? His movies, videos. I mean, look at all his movies, right? He was always stealing the
Into the
show
Grave was
because
by far the dopest movie in the world.
yeah, I mean, like
Only because it had DMX
his
in it.
presence anywhere, videos or movies stole the show, right? Romeo Must Die, and just the few
That
scenes
one
with
was dope
Silk
too.
in it, everybody's like, "Yes, you fucking with X now. What was that?" You know what I mean? Like when they got to the club scene and etc. And in the beginning, right, where he come out and he like, "Y'all need to get it together." Way nobody did it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who X was, even in the movies he was in. You know what I'm saying? That just that tone, that energy that he brought was so raw and so real. It got you hyped. You know what I mean? Everybody ready to fight after listening to DMX music. And it wasn't even about particularly fighting someone, but it was about being amped up, providing an energy like, yes, I'm going to get through this. I'm a G, I'm a soldier. That's the energy that DMX gave through his music and through who he was. And I will forever be appreciative to have experienced that and to have experienced DMX. So
Yeah.
with that said, I'm going to throw it back to y'all for any additional comments y'all want to share before we wrap up the session and this love session, this
Yes.
I
appreciation
agree.
Yep.
of DMX.
Yep.
I need a DMX song. That's what I need right now. Yo, y'all got me so hyped right now. I need a DMX song.
But yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, of course, this is a love and appreciation session of the legend DMX. But y'all definitely touched on some great things. And from what this sounds like, just from our commentary and from what everybody's saying, what all the fans are saying out there, DMX was an experience. Of course, he was a person. He was an individual, but he was an experience. Just to be alive and to have said, yeah, I grew up listening to this man right here. Like that's an experience. With all of us, we grew up listening to him. We were teenagers when he came out. We was in middle school, high school, and we've grown into adulthood listening to this man. So that was just the whole experience right there. And I'm glad that I can say that I've lived that experience, that I've been able to experience his music, his presence, like Naya Angel said, his videos and him being in movies, like just the whole experience, his interviews, everything that he was in, it has been just an honor and a pleasure to experience all of it. And going back to what y'all were saying, as far as, I guess, people trying to measure, who's a real fan and who's not, who didn't know him personally. And listen, obviously everybody didn't get to meet Earl Simmons, aka DMX. Obviously everybody didn't know him on a personal level. But guess what? People loved him as an artist and felt his music and experienced him in a different way, not on a personal level, but just in a different way, whether it be through watching his videos, him on TV shows, making appearances, his movies, whatever. And the fact is, everybody didn't have to experience him in person to say that they're a fan. Because at the end of the day, and this goes back to what I said earlier about just having an intuition and a knowing of how real he was. Like, you just knew. Like, you can't compare him to other celebrities because, like I said before, he wasn't manufactured. He wasn't this well-packaged celebrity. He was raw, he was gritty, he was real, he was open with his imperfections. He just didn't give a fuck. And most of us felt that, regardless of what people want to say about him. And I know, me personally, I could say I know he's real. Like, I didn't meet him personally, but I know people, or I should say I knew people who actually knew him personally. One of my best friends who passed away last year, she knew
My
DMX.
condolences.
Thank you.
Sorry.
She knew DMX on a personal level, and I know she knew him personally. Like, they hung out and everything. And I know that. So just knowing that and knowing how much she was my best friend and how close we were, I know that he was real, because she only hung out with real people.
Right.
She didn't fuck around with anybody who's fake or on some BS or whatever. Anybody that she hung out with was real, flat out. They were a certain type of person. They had a certain type of character. Just, you know, they so I knew. And you know the saying, birds of a feather flock together. And
I agree.
I'm sure people have heard the term 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, everybody knows everybody in some way, because you know, one person I know, they know this person, they know XYZ, and there's like a connection. You know, I'm not gonna break all that down here because you know, we want to focus on X. But the fact of the matter is, we know he was real. It doesn't matter if somebody hung out with him personally or whatever. You just knew. And from what my friend had told me about him, and just things I've heard other people say about him who have met him personally and who have known him personally, everything was consistent. Everything they said about him as far as their personal interactions, it lined up with everything that he showed on TV or whatever, whether it be in his interviews, or everything was consistent. It was never a thing of, oh, you know, he acts this way on TV, but then in person he acts like this. I never heard that, ever.
Wow. I love it.
It was always consistent.
Who was this man's publicist? That's what I need to know.
So on that level, it's like I felt like I knew him personally just through other people that I know, you know. So, you know, for people to say these things like, oh, you know, you didn't know him personally, and then people out here just kind of trying to measure who's a real fan and who, you know, who didn't listen to him all the time or whatever. Because I see what people say online, and it's just like, man, cut the bullshit. Like, everybody had their own experience with DMX. You know, everybody obviously didn't have all of his albums. Everybody didn't listen to all of his mixtapes. Some of us did, and then some people didn't. You know, some people might have just loved his songs in the club, or, you know, they might have just liked his movies or whatever, you know, whatever. The thing is, people experienced him in their own way, and we got to stop trying to put that down. Like let's just
absolutely.
You know,
I agree.
So I just wanted.
He was exactly right, Pat. And I was just going to say, he was different things to different people, just like a lot of artists are. You know, the reality of it is, the Black community is mourning a leader, and it's not necessarily a leader how people our thinking in the sense of, a civil rights activist or etc. We're mourning a leader within the hip hop industry, a leader of showing people what it means to be real and raw and not letting the industry take over who you are. And he was one of the first to be that authentic person, to say, as one of you mentioned earlier, not crossover, to say, no, this is who X is. This is who I'm going to be. You like it, you love it, or you don't. And what that encompassed, who he was being real and raw. And that is what we are not only mourning, because mourning has a negative undertone. We are not only speaking on how great the loss is for us, for our community, but we are also speaking on how great it was to have experienced him in the first place. We are remembering and we are appreciating and we are enjoying his legacy. And it is nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong at all. But like I said, I got the lyrics in front of me about what these bitches want from a nigga. Now, this is the one, and this is the one song I tell everybody that ain't nobody gonna top X, because you gotta be a cold ass motherfucker to go sit here making females name and making it rhyme. But when he starts off, when Cisco kills that damn chorus and whatnot, the first few bars just make you just think for a little bit. And I got the lyrics in front of me. And it goes, yo, dog, I meet bitches, discreet bitches, street bitches, / Cocoa Puff, sweet bitches. Now, I'm going to tell you like this, right? Can y'all find me a rapper who can get away calling a female a Cocoa Puff sweet bitch? Like, tell me. I need to find me a rapper.
I thought that was funny when I first heard that.
Yeah, first person. Then he follows up and say, make you want to eat bitches, but not me. Y'all niggas can eat off the plate all you want, but not D. Now, let me ask y'all something out there, listeners. I just want to hear this, right? This man just said in his bar, he said, y'all make me want to eat bitches, but not me. So all the hoes out there that say they want towards every what he said towards them, he stated himself, not me. Y'all niggas can eat all on the plate y'all want, but not D. He made sure he let everybody know it's his way or the highway. So someone please find me this and whatnot. Now, my favorite line of the song, which I love, he said, come on, ma, you know I got a wife. Even though that pussy's tight, I'm not going to jeopardize my life. Mm-hmm. Now, can y'all find me an artist that can say something like that? Mm-hmm. So he's letting everybody know, he want to be himself. But then someone got all these bitches / hoes that keep bothering the man, keep trying to get in his way. Now, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I got more. Now, my favorite part. So all you guys who swear y'all hip hop heads, right? Mm-hmm. The famous, all females, bars that he made it rhyme. And trust me, ain't nobody done this before. He said there was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Ines, and Alicia. Teresa, Monica, Sharon, Nikki, Lisa, Veronica, Karen, and Vicky. Cookie, well, I met her at the ice cream parlor. Tanya, Dion, Lori, and Carla. Marina, Selena, Katrina, Sabrina. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Find me an artist who can take those 4 names and make it rhyme, Then afterward, he follows up with like about 3 Kims. Latoya and Tina. Shelly, Bridget, Kathy, Rashida, Kelly, Nicole, Angel, Juanita, Stacy, Tracy, LaRon, Yolanda, LaDonna, Yolanda, Tawana, and Wanda. Now, every time I listen to that song, I used to fast forward to that part because why? I ain't never seen an artist take women's name and make it rhyme. You turn to a whole 16. Now, y'all can say all y'all want, but y'all ain't touching X. Like, come on. Like, no. We got plenty of artists out there. Give me a catalog, you know. Give me somebody, you know. I want it in the comments. I'm going to go loud and hard on it. Show me an artist that can go as hard as X, who can make females' names rhyme, put it in the song, turn that joint to a hit, and the rest is history. Please find me somebody. Please find me somebody. Because y'all ain't going to dog my man X like this. Y'all ain't going to do it, you know. Because I can tell everybody like this. This song is probably going on in rotation where you probably have, what you shouldn't be having, is 10 and 11-year-olds saying stuff like this. But if they start listening to X, best believe they'll be saying stuff like this. But we don't want that. But make sure. Because I tell everyone, y'all don't know when you turn on some DMX, you don't know how crazy you might get after
They
one
don't
night.
know.
Man.
Who we be? He already let y'all know.
Sorry,
Y'all just
like
don't know.
Calling me that I had to say it right there.
Y'all just don't know. Like I'm telling you, y'all just don't know. You know, he let y'all know when you get a piece of X, you know you're gonna be losing your mind. So I'm just letting y'all don't even, for those who don't know who DMX is, I'm gonna tell you like this. Go on eBay. All right. Go on eBay. I want you guys to type in Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood on cassette player. All right. I want you to go buy the cassette. All right. Not the CD, not on iTunes. Go buy the cassette. I guarantee someone's selling that cassette because I know those cassette players are still going around. You go buy that tape. Then you go on eBay and you go Google, go buy yourself a Walkman. You go listen to it and it's going to change your life. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee
Hey, real quick, going, since you mentioned the cassette tape. So back when he first came out when he came out in 98, I remember going to my grandmother's house in New York, and some of my cousins were there, and I remember one of them had a tape, and it was a mixtape though. It was a mixtape, but they had a cassette tape, and I remember it saying DMX versus Cannabis. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit, hold up!" Like, oh, hold up. I was like, did they battle each other? Like, did they like, you know? And that really intrigued me. And so we'll fast forward, and I basically downloaded the DMX versus Cannabis. Now, I don't think they actually battled one another. I possibly could be wrong, but I don't think they actually battled one another, because I read DMX's book and he didn't mention Cannabis in it as far as his battles, because he mentioned all his rap battles before he got on, and Cannabis wasn't in there. Jay-Z was in there, by the way. He mentioned he battled Jay-Z. But
that makes sense.
But yeah, so DMX versus Cannabis. So it was a mixtape, but really it was just more so DMX's songs and Cannabis's songs, and they were like mixed together. So there's a I guess a track, whether you want to call it a mixtape track or whatever, where DMX is freestyling, he's rapping, and then Cannabis is freestyling first, then it's DMX. So it's kind of set up like they're battling each other. Anyway, back then I thought they were like really going at each other, like really battling. Cannabis goes, of course, I'm not sure how y'all feel about Cannabis, but he's a dope lyricist. He is definitely lyrically, he's like on another level.
He is a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yes, lyrically, he's a legend, and a lot of people don't know that. All they know is that silly ass shit with LL, but they better get hip.
Right.
So this is and I'm not too sure about the whole battle with LL, but see, it's LL's fault for messing around with cannabis, and it everyone shits on cannabis. I don't know why they do. I don't get it, but
the thing is, yeah, it's a battle with LL, and then
and I think that's what it is, because everyone said, cannabis didn't go. Supposedly he didn't go so hard on LL, but the thing about
second round KO, that was tough.
Yeah. That's when he got him. But
Period, Pat.
Yeah. But the thing about what bothers me so much is that when LL came out, and he was picking out a whole lot of beef and whatnot, especially with my man Kumo D and whatnot. But they just put this man on, like, his bars are good and amazing. But when I heard about the joint with him and cannabis, I was like, man, I'm like, really? Like, it just made it feel like, it's like you're in the playground right now, someone's trying to be the bully, but they really used that to really like pump up LL to make him, that great. But and LL
the
really
thing
cool
is,
dude.
the thing is, I think LL's dope, and that whole thing, you know what? Regardless of how it started, because I know it started off the 4, 3, 2, 1 joint, which DMX was on, which he had a great standout verse on that. But I know it stemmed from that. I won't go too much into that because I want to focus more on X. But all I can say is that it produced a great hip hop battle. Cannabis and LL, like it was good for hip hop. Because battling, not beef. Not like beef where like somebody gets their brains blown out or some shit like that, or somebody gets murdered or whatever.
Right, you talking about words.
Right, we're talking words, a war of words. That's good for hip hop. Like that elevates hip hop. So that was good.
What came out of that? They need to give my respect to my man Kumo D. Kumo D definitely destroyed LL, but that's just me. That's just me.
That's a whole nother session, fellas.
Yeah, that's a whole nother session.
I apologize.
But like I was saying, so I think that produced a good hip hop battle. But to get back to X real quick, so Cannabis, this whole tape with Cannabis, DMX versus Cannabis. So Cannabis raps, and it seems like they're battling each other, but I don't think it's that. I just think it's one Cannabis verse and then a DMX verse. It's more of like they're exchanging bars, really. So Cannabis goes, of course, Cannabis kills it. Of course, we know how lyrical he is, and we know how dope he is as a lyricist. And then DMX goes, and I'm like, damn, because, the thing is, their styles are both different.
Right.
But DMX, his energy, he held his own. And the thing is, because Cannabis, like, he has a big vocabulary, as we all know.
He does.
And DMX,
he reminds me so much of Papoose.
Right. And DMX,
exactly.
Yeah, DMX, his vocabulary wasn't as big as a Cannabis, but just his energy and just his aggression and just how he was flowing, he was able to, he was holding his own. Like, just the raps put together, they were like neck and neck, and I remember hearing that, and that just made me really just fuck with X harder. But like, just hearing that, it just sent me down the rabbit hole as far as like just listening to like DMX freestyles, not songs, or even the albums, but like just freestyles off of like mixtapes. That really just sent me down a rabbit hole of let me dig a little further into DMX and what he does and listen to this other, B-side shit, So, but I remember that experience, and because I brought that up because I know E brought up the cassette tape, and I remember seeing that cassette tape, and that was intriguing to me at the time, because I'm like, damn, DMX first.
Yes.
Let me hear that. Like, can I borrow this tape?
That's a good example, PAT. I think both of y'all touched on some very excellent points, to get that rawness, like I was saying before, all of the generation right now that's doing all of these, commemorations and all of this planned tribute, we experienced X, becoming X firsthand, the artist DMX, you know what I mean? We experienced that rawness, that realness firsthand, starting with his first two albums and just getting deeper into being real. And every album, every subsequent album to come after those two. So, what each one of you did was highlight some of the greatness and just how he made us feel, the aura that was DMX's presence in the hip hop industry, right? So, I thank you fellas for touching on that, for sharing your thoughts. Everyone here at The Good, The Bad, The Truth would like to say to the Simmons family that we wish you all the love and peace out there. And we thank you for sharing such a dynamic and beautiful soul with the world. Rest peacefully, rest empowered, DMX.
Empowered, DMX.
What?
On, but never forgotten. I'm trying to do my bark, y'all, but I can only be so, you know what I mean? But we get it, the point is, we love you, DMX. Live on. You will always live on through all the love that all of your fans and followers have for you. Your presence is still here, and it'll always be here. You know what I mean? You'll always have such an impact on so many of us, and we all love you. Dark Man X.
Where my dogs at?
Dark Man X.
Like I said, where my dogs at?
Oh man, you know what I just had the urge to do? DMX, you want it, you gotta come get it. All you gotta do is set it, baby. Right.
God.
Really want.
What you really want? DMX.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Whew. All right, fellas.
Hey.
Thank you all to our listeners. Thank you for listening to the special dedicated episode to DMX. As always, we will share a few links to a few different DMX related articles, but of course, feel free to, check out his music if you haven't already. Great music there. And if this is going to be,
don't lose your mind if you listen to his music.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
I'll go make me lose my mind. Here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we will share some links along with this episode. And of course, if you haven't already, check out our co-host, Mr. PAT. Sir, go ahead and release that info for the fans, please.
Yeah. thepatchannel.com. Once again, thepatchannel.com. All my social media handles on there: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You could go right to it. Follow me, subscribe, like, do all that.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, y'all. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to The Good.
Yes,
subscribe,
share. Yes, give us that YouTube love, y'all. That's what we're looking for. We appreciate all that support. Go ahead and share that YouTube love with us. And as always, we are saying peace until next time here at The Good, The Bad, and The Truth.
What you really want? What you really want?